It's your job. It's your job to push the interaction forward, to lead the interaction forward. Yeah? So, how do you do that? What most guys do is they just start asking questions. Girls are so used to like the interview, right? Where are you from? Oh, Oslo. Oh, I've been there. Whereabouts in Oslo? Oh, yeah, okay. Do you like living there? Oh, okay. Just question. And the reason why we do that is because that's the easiest way we know, because we think, well, I want to talk to her more. I want her to say things. So if I ask her questions, both those things happen. So I'll ask a question, another question, another question. But what you're doing by asking a question in a conversation is you are taking value from that conversation. And it gets to the point where she's just like, I've got to go. Like, it's just an interview. A normal conversation goes statement, question, statement, question, statement, question, give, take, give, take. So the key to pushing an interaction forward is making statements. What do you make statements about? Well, you have to talk about things that she's interested in. But you've just met her. How can you do that? How can you talk about what she's interested in? You can't. At least you can't talk about like hobbies and stuff, because you might be like just randomly sort of Japanese anime. She's like, oh, I love that, right? But there's one thing that all women are interested in, and all men are interested as well. All people, everyone is interested in this topic. Does anyone know what that topic is? Well, if you guys have seen Day Game Blueprint, yeah. Not me. Yourself. She is interested in herself, as are we all interested in ourselves, because we experience life inside here. This is our world, you know? So if somebody comes up to me at a party and they want to engage me, is they can talk about me. It's not like narcissistic, it's not like, I want to hear about myself, but they talk about, they talk about Day Game, they talk about, well, I'll go into this in a second, but they talk about, my world. I'm interested. If you start talking about, oh yeah, my job and whatever, I don't care. I don't care. Like, when you're friends with somebody, they fall within your boundaries of yourself, of your self-interest, of things you care about. You want to hear about them. But a stranger, you don't fucking care. So you're that stranger, right? So if you can talk about her, she'll be captivated. But how do you do that? Easy. All those questions you were going to ask her, what do you do? Where are you from? What you're up to? All these kind of things. You just turn them into assumptions. You guess. And we call this assumption stacking. You do this, and the more you do this, she will start to invest more and more and more until you reach something that a lot of people call the hook point. It's just the point where you can clearly see that she wants to carry on talking. You're no longer trying to get her to invest. She's voluntarily engaging, and it's usually, you can tell when you're at that point because she starts asking you questions. She asks you a question. If she wanted to leave, why would she ask you a question? And it's just like, why don't you leave? Right? So what could you say if you're looking at this girl? And by the way, these assumptions, you can't prepare for them. You can't remember them. Because every assumption is unique about this girl that's right in front of you. And what you have to do, and when guys say, even though they know this assumption stacking thing, and they say, I ran out of assumptions. Like, gone. Like, what's happening there is that they're approaching the girl, and then they're not paying attention to the girl. They're not looking at her. They're not listening. So they've got an assumption ready. It's like fucking locked, ready. You look really creative. She's like, oh, yeah. I'm doing illustration at university. You also look Spanish, right? Right? And she's like, no, I'm, Welsh. And then, you reach back and you're like, oh, shit. and then you're like, you know, and then it ends, and it comes back. I ran out of assumptions.